I've always been an absolutely huge Harry Potter fan. I read all the books as a kid, watched all the movies, played the PlayStation games, the whole nine yards. And when the franchise ended with Deathly Hallows Part 2, I thought they did a pretty good job, and it was surprisingly satisfying for a big franchise like that. And I absolutely did still want more of it, you know? I mean, Harry Potter is a huge world, you could do endless spin offs with it. But when they announced Fantastic Beasts as that spin off, I was so disappointed. I mean, this is a world where you could make a movie about Harry's parents as kids in Hogwarts. You can make a spin-off about the First War with Voldemort. You can make a spin-off about a Goblin Rebellion, but not in a lame way like Hogwarts Legacy did that makes it really boring. You could even make a really distant past war with the Muggles and the Wizards, where the Wizards go into hiding because they lose or something. But more than any of those great ideas, what I really wanted was a Dumbledore prequel. I mean, he is one of the most interesting characters in the franchise, and they've laid the groundwork so well to make a very interesting set of movies about the war with him and Grindelwald. And with Fantastic Beasts, I mean, I don't think it's a terrible idea. I mean, I think there's a good set of movies you could make out of that, even if it's not what I would have made. You know, especially if you were making this super dark and gritty Dumbledore prequel, you know, at the same time, you know, because Harry Potter really juggles between lighthearted and fun in the earlier movies to super dark and bleary at the end. I think you could have a really dark franchise and a really lighthearted, fun, you know, Monster of the Week type franchise. But when you mix both of those together and try to make them into one coherent story, you ruin both of those ideas. And look, there's a lot of reasons, looking back, why the Fantastic Beasts franchise failed. You know, truly awful world building, incredibly inconsistent characters. They often take the least interesting path with every choice they make. They waste endless time doing nothing. You have all the drama with J.K. Rowling and Ezra Miller and Johnny Depp. Bad dialogue. But I really think even if all that hadn't been there, this series would have been mediocre at best. And that's because they took two decent ideas that are completely different tonally and insisted on merging them together in a way that they should not be merged. I mean, I haven't followed the franchise too much until I made this video. I think I watched Fantastic Beasts maybe a couple months after it came out on a streaming service. And I didn't love it, you know, I pretty much forgot about it instantly. But it wasn't awful. I mean, I just rewatched it. Newt is pretty likable. Jacob's likable. They have a good dynamic. I even like the little awkward, shy romance he has with Tina. It's a cool, fresh setting to see, you know, the wizarding world in America and how it's different. I love all that. I think the best part of that movie, easily, is the Fantastic Beast. I mean, the magical creatures are so well done. Their gimmicks are really satisfying and fun. The Niffler's cute. And that's a franchise that I could absolutely see being super successful. You know, he should be off on faraway adventures every movie, doing unrelated things, maybe saving creatures, performing like bank heists and stuff with them, and using all their gimmicks to get out of situations. You know, it should just be this weird, zany, lighthearted spin-off, essentially, kind of removed from everything else going on. And the thing is, even though I kind of can see the vision of what it should have been, even in the first movie, it's starting to crumble. Just like this channel is going to if you guys don't like and subscribe. So please, show your man some love. But anyway, they already have really bad dialogue. The magic use is super inconsistent. They constantly use magic in front of muggles like it's nothing. And sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. You know, I understand they already started kind of messing up the rules of nonverbal spells and wands and all that in Harry Potter. But it's really bad here, in this franchise especially. But what really drags it down is this incredibly dull, personality-lacking storyline about Credence. I mean, I don't even hate the concept of an Obscurious. I think it's kind of a neat idea, but trying to tie this into Grindelwald is just terrible. I mean, he looks so pathetic that Newt Scamander, like, defeats him in this movie, basically. And with this giant, heavy storyline of Dumbledore versus Grindelwald, just ruins both of them so completely. I mean, I even think that the whole Obscurial thing could work in this movie if it was really just one kid who is turning into this thing going crazy, and Newt and the magical beast are being framed for it, so Newt has to go stop him and, like, save the kid from himself. I think that could work pretty well. But you don't need a big villain behind the scenes for this, honestly. But even with all this stuff, I still think the first movie is decent. It's still a fun time. You still get a lot of cool stuff with the creatures and Newt. I think the cast has really good chemistry. And it's a pretty good setup to start a franchise with, regardless of where it goes. But this series dies with The Crimes of Grindelwald. This has to be the worst installment in a franchise I have ever seen, except for The Last Jedi. I mean, this was so bad when I watched it years ago that I didn't even watch The Secrets of Dumbledore till, yesterday to make this video. This movie feels like a fever dream. It is so incoherent and convoluted. The characters spend the whole time just running around trying to find each other aimlessly. It feels like nothing in this movie happens, and yet every time it cuts to a new scene, I don't know why we're there. I mean, the plot is driven by all these dumb little misunderstandings, like Tina and Newt spend the whole movie at odds with each other because of a misprint in a paper that could be explained in 5 seconds, but it just isn't, just so that there can be drama. I mean, they take Nagini and turn her into a person and shove her in this movie for no reason. I mean, what is the purpose? What does her character do? Is it really just so that people can look at the snake in the Harry Potter movies and be like, oh, she was actually a person that time? I mean, it's just insane. And then the whole Credence storyline, again, is so boring. I mean, they do this whole Lethal Lestrange ancestry thing where Grindelwald's grand plan is to lead Credence to finding out he's a Dumbledore. Just tell him he's a Dumbledore. Why are you doing this insanely overcomplicated plot line of, but what's his heritage? That doesn't work. That mystery doesn't work if we don't care about him. And we don't, because he's boring. Lethal Lestrange is boring. She has no personality whatsoever. Her big sacrifice to stop Grindelwald or whatever doesn't stop Grindelwald. There's no emotional impact regardless because she has no redeemable qualities. It's like things are just randomly happening. And then she just dies instantly when she attacks him. She doesn't even help anybody. And Grindelwald's plan is basically to host a seminar. He spends the whole movie planning the seminar, and the movie ends with all his followers going, spread the word, But the whole movie, it's been established that that's what's happening already. It's like nothing important happened in this movie at all. But the absolute worst thing this movie does that truly makes me despise it is that they take the Grindelwald-Dumbledore conflict and they strip it of everything that could possibly make it interesting. I mean, the whole point in the books is that Dumbledore was a terrible person, and him being in league searching for the Hollows with Grindelwald gets his sister killed, and it reforms him. He becomes a better person for it, but he still can't bring himself for years to fight Grindelwald because of the guilt and the shame and the love he has for him. So why would you take away that fantastic conflict and turn it into some stupid blood pact? It's like you took all the depth out of this storyline and made it a MacGuffin. It's like, actually, I can't fight him because I just physically can't because of this curse thing. It would have been so much more interesting if he couldn't fight him just because of his emotions. And the whole quest that Dumbledore sends Newt on because of this, why doesn't he just tell him about it? Why is he so secretive for absolutely no reason? I mean, he's secretive in Harry Potter, but there's always a purpose to it, He doesn't tell him that because he's a kid, He wants to spare him, but in the end ends up hurting him. It's just like, why even do this whole Grindelwald-Dumbledore storyline if you're gonna skip over everything that makes it interesting? The whole purpose of going back to this time frame is to see Dumbledore's life. This should be a trilogy of its own movies where Dumbledore is evil, then he gets reformed, you see him fall in line with Grindelwald and his sister dies, all that stuff, he changes. And end it with the legendary duel where Grindelwald has the Elder Wand and Dumbledore still beats him. I mean, it's already written. We already have heard what happens here. We've heard Dumbledore's accounting of it. Why would we make a prequel and then just fill it with scenes of Dumbledore once again talking about what happened? Show us what happened. And that's not even to mention that at the start of the movie, they literally just say that the memory thing didn't work on Kowalski just because the fans like him, I guess. It's like this franchise has no respect for its own rules. And then the whole Queenie betrayal just makes no sense. I mean, Grindelwald is all about oppressing the Muggles, doing all this. Why would you possibly think that your marriage to Kowalski is going to be more accepted with Grindelwald in charge? I mean, it's just completely nonsensical. Especially when you consider that when he's trying to, like, sweet talk her, she can read his mind. You know he's lying. Why are you doing this? And man, I'm not trying to be so harsh on it, you know? Like, I really hate to be just completely negative and not see the good in things. There's some stuff here that's okay, but this movie in particular of the three really feels like it is intentionally stalling because it knows there's supposed to be 5 movies. I mean, there's maybe 20 minutes worth of screen time where things actually important are happening in this movie. And you know, little things like McGonagall not being born yet but still being in the movie, they're not that big a deal on their own, but it's just like over and over and over to the point where it's like they clearly don't care about the details of the world. They don't care if it doesn't make sense that Credence is alive. They don't care if it doesn't make sense that Kowalski has his memory. They don't care if it doesn't make sense that the Wizards in the Rain didn't get their memory erased. You know, it's just so sloppy and put together like no thought went into it at all. You know, and good movies have problems like that too. You know, everything makes a couple mistakes, and I don't mean to just nitpick the movies I don't like, but at some point, it's like there's a reason that they stand out to you in a bad movie. Because a good movie, you can look past that stuff because you're connecting with the themes of the characters, or, you know, something in it is making you be willing to put that aside. But when a movie is dragging and just not offering anything of value, that's all you can see. You know, once a movie's bad, you stop giving it the benefit of the doubt, and every little mistake becomes a big mistake. And I know this is a very rambly video. I didn't even write a script for this one because I'm just so angry after watching this. And I think the best demonstration of why these two concepts don't merge is the third movie. The Secrets to Dumbledore is so nonsensical, it's crazy. I mean, who sat down and pitched this movie? I can't even imagine, like, going into the room and being like, so I got this idea. There's this magical goat who tells people who to vote for. So Grindelwald's gonna kill it and bring it back to life as a shadow goat so it'll vote for him, but then the heroes will bring the actual good goat. And all the people that just voted for Grindelwald, who's all about oppressing muggles and basically purging the world of them, they're all instantly gonna completely switch sides when they see the real goat. Because that's how racism works. It's like, oh, that guy was lying. I don't hate the muggles now. And then this movie also gives Aberforth a son that he never cared about, which kind of ruins his character and makes it not really make sense that he's always so angry at Albus for being a terrible brother to Ariana. Everything the main characters are doing in this movie just is so random. And I understand they use the cop-out of, oh, well, he can see what I'm doing, so we need to just do a bunch of random stuff and he'll be confused. It's like, is that really how you want to write this movie? You want the people to go on all these ridiculous side quests where Newt Scamander is freaking dancing like a crab for 40 minutes to save his brother? I mean, can you imagine if, like, the plot of Deathly Hallows revolved around this cute little animal that Voldemort desperately wanted, so they're all running around? Like, that's so lame. You know, we're with the two most powerful wizards, like, ever, and it's supposed to be this epic dramatic climax, and they're fighting over a goddamn goat. It's like, and this is where the two identities of what should be two separate franchises just don't go together. The Fantastic Beasts don't belong in this dark story at all. And how dare they show Dumbledore looking into the mirror of Erzad and he sees Grindelwald and not his sister. His sister's death is the whole reason he switched sides. How is that not what he wants most in the world, to see her back alive? It's ridiculous. And then the whole blood oath gets so... oh my god. I mean, they end the blood oath, he's like, oh, well, I didn't directly attack him. I just opposed him. I just acted against him, even though we established earlier, even thinking about plotting against him causes me immense pain and causes the curse to hurt me. It's so insane. And then we have this ridiculous CGI inverted color scheme fight that looks like it's a boss fight from Jedi Survivor. It's just 100 times worse than the amazing fight between him and Voldemort at the Ministry of Magic. And I really don't think any of the reasons these movies failed had much to do with the recasting, any of that stuff. I mean, yes, a lot of people, including me, think it's ridiculous that they kicked Johnny Depp off the project because of that. But in terms of performance, I mean, Mads Mikkelsen did a great job as Grindelwald, I think. You know, I know he's never going to get, you know, any praise for it because the movie was terrible, the character was written bad, but I think he portrayed him pretty well. And even if all these people, you know, hadn't boycotted it because of the Johnny Depp stuff, this franchise was already dead with the second movie. I mean, they already dug a hole so deep, they weren't getting out of it regardless, I think. I mean, it's like you just took a random person who maybe kind of remembers watching Harry Potter and told them to go make a movie, you know? They blatantly use magic everywhere, tons of public fights in the streets. The political system of this world makes no sense. It's all over the place, which is a shame because that's something that would have been really interesting if done well. They even throw in the Room of Requirement into this movie, which is just there so that you can say, oh, look, the Room of Requirement. I mean, does everyone who exists in the world have to find every secret at Hogwarts? I mean, doesn't that take away the fun and mystery of it? You know, Dumbledore sends a spy to go spy on Grindelwald for no reason, I guess, because he doesn't do anything. He has no impact on the story whatsoever. I think he knocks out 2 people. And then Queenie is forgiven like nothing ever happened instantly. It's just, this is one of the most frustrating... These 2 movies, the last 2 movies of this franchise, are like the most frustrating movies I've ever watched in my life. Because all the concepts in them should work so well. I would love a well-done Dumbledore prequel, pretty much more than anything else Harry Potter could offer at this point. And they just won't do it. They just insist on messing it up and making it so bad. You know, I just don't understand. It's like, why change all this stuff within the lore when the lore is great? You know, that's the reason people want this storyline, is because of how Book 7 and even Movie 7 a bit set up this great Dumbledore story. They made him so interesting, and you just have to go in and change all this stuff and make it as lame as you possibly can. And honestly, after seeing how they handled these movies, man, I don't really want the Harry Potter reboot. Like, I understand the movies left out a lot from the books, you know? And it would be great to get that fleshed out in a TV show like they're talking about. But I don't have faith. You know, they're not going to be as good as the movies. They're going to be worse. They're going to be changed. All the storylines are going to be altered. The characters are probably going to be altered. I doubt they're going to get casting as good as they did for McGonagall, for Hagrid, for Dumbledore. I mean, I just don't see how it can really be an improvement if this is the team that's writing it. And regardless, if I wanted anything more from Harry Potter, it'd be more spin-offs. I mean, there's a million things to talk about in Harry Potter, and they insist on remaking the one project that they did well. I mean, the movies still hold up pretty well, in my opinion. I mean, it's just, how tone-deaf can you be? I mean, how can you actually make a movie like that? Like The Crimes of Grindelwald, like The Secrets of Dumbledore, and be proud of that? Oh, man. I'm sorry, guys. That's going to do it for this one. Tell me what you guys thought of the Fantastic Beasts franchise, what you want to see next from Harry Potter, if you want to see anything else. Please like and subscribe. I love you. I'll catch you all in the next episode of HeadCannon.